Hello everyone, and welcome back to The Achievers. For those joining us for the first time, a warm welcome to you. I'm so happy to have you here. This channel is a special place for us to embark on a journey of personal and professional growth together. I believe that everyone has the potential to achieve great things. Sometimes we just need a little guidance and inspiration along the way. Today, we're diving deep into the heart of productivity. Ever wondered how you could squeeze more productivity out of your busy day? We all long for those extra hours, don't we? The truth is, it's not about having more time, but about making the most of the time we have. In this video, we'll uncover 10 powerful yet simple hacks that can transform your daily routine. These are the secrets that high achievers swear by, and I'm excited to share them with you. Get ready to unlock a world of efficiency and achieve more than you ever thought possible. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by a to-do list that seems to stretch on forever? I remember a time when I felt this way too. I was working with a lovely woman who was a talented artist, but she felt constantly behind in both her work and personal life. Her to-do list was a jumbled mess, and she would often find herself jumping from one task to another, never truly making progress on anything. We began by taking a deep breath and acknowledging the emotions that surfaced when she looked at her to-do list. Then, we took each item on the list and asked ourselves a simple question. Does this spark joy? Does it move me closer to my goals? It was amazing to see her face light up as she started to prioritize the tasks that truly mattered to her. By the end of our session, her to-do list was no longer a source of stress, but a roadmap to a more fulfilling and productive life. She had let go of the tasks that were draining her energy and focused on the ones that brought her joy and moved her closer to her dreams. Remember, prioritizing isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. When we let go of the unnecessary and focus on what truly sparks joy, we create space for greater productivity and fulfillment in our lives. Many successful people credit their accomplishments to the power of an early start. I think of a remarkable entrepreneur I worked with. He was always on the go, managing multiple businesses and traveling the world. He confessed that he had always been a night owl, but he realized that his most productive hours were slipping away. Inspired by the stories of other successful individuals, he decided to make a change. He started by waking up just 15 minutes earlier each day, gradually adjusting his body to the new schedule. At first it was a challenge, but he found that those quiet morning hours were a precious time for reflection and creative thinking. As he embraced the stillness of the morning, he discovered a newfound sense of clarity and purpose. He used this time to exercise, meditate, and plan his day, setting himself up for success before the demands of the day took hold. If you're looking to enhance your productivity, I encourage you to experiment with waking up earlier. It doesn't have to be a drastic change, even a small shift can make a world of difference. Embrace those early morning hours, and you might be surprised by the magic they hold. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of tasks and deadlines. We often wear busyness as a badge of honor, but the truth is, our bodies and minds need regular breaks to function at their best. I once met a talented writer who was struggling to meet a deadline. She had been working long hours, pushing herself to the limit, but the words just wouldn't come. As we talked, it became clear that she was experiencing burnout. She was exhausted, both physically and mentally, and her creativity had completely dried up. I suggested that she try taking short, regular breaks throughout the day. She was hesitant at first, worried that taking breaks would only put her further behind. However, she decided to give it a try. She started small, taking 5-minute breaks every hour to step away from her computer and engage in activities that brought her joy. She would go for a walk, listen to music, or simply close her eyes and breathe deeply. To her surprise, these short breaks made a world of difference. She found that when she returned to her work, she was more focused, energized, and creative. The words flowed effortlessly, and she was able to meet her deadline with ease. Have you heard of the Pomodoro technique? It's a simple yet effective time management method that can help you power through tasks with focus and efficiency. The concept is simple. Work in focused bursts of 25 minutes, followed by a 5-minute short break. After every 4 Pomodoros, take a longer break of 15 to 20 minutes. I recently worked with a software developer who was struggling to manage his time effectively. He was constantly getting distracted by emails, social media, and other interruptions. This made it difficult for him to get into a flow state and make significant progress on his projects. We decided to try implementing the Pomodoro technique into his workflow. At first he was skeptical, but he was willing to try anything to improve his productivity. He set a timer for 25 minutes and committed to focusing solely on his coding during that time. When the timer went off, he would take a short break to stretch, grab a drink, or simply step away from his computer. The results were remarkable. By breaking down his work into manageable chunks and incorporating regular breaks, he was able to maintain his focus for longer periods and get more done in less time. He found that the short breaks helped to prevent burnout and kept his mind fresh and alert. In a world that often glorifies busyness, it can be challenging to say no. We want to please others, take on new opportunities, and be everything to everyone. However, saying yes to everything can lead to overwhelm, burnout, and a lack of focus on what truly matters. I think of a remarkable entrepreneur I met who had just launched her dream startup. She was passionate, driven, and determined to succeed. However, she quickly found herself inundated with requests and opportunities. Everyone wanted a piece of her time and energy. She realized that she couldn't do it all. She had to learn to say no to protect her time, energy, and focus. It wasn't easy at first. She felt guilty, worried about disappointing others, and afraid of missing out on potential opportunities. However, she knew that something had to change. She began by setting clear boundaries and prioritizing her time based on her goals and values. She learned to politely decline requests that didn't align with her vision, or that would drain her energy. As she became more comfortable with saying no, she found that she had more time and energy to devote to the things that truly mattered: her business, her family, and her well-being. She realized that saying no wasn't selfish. It was an act of self-care and a way to protect her dreams. In today's digital age, it's easy to feel constantly connected. Our phones are always buzzing with notifications, our inboxes are overflowing, and social media beckons us with endless distractions. While technology has brought about incredible advancements, it's essential to recognize the importance of disconnecting and giving our minds a break. I once worked with a talented marketing executive who was struggling to come up with fresh, creative ideas. She felt stuck in a rut, and her work was suffering. She was constantly bombarded with information and stimulation, and her mind felt cluttered and overwhelmed. We decided to experiment with a digital detox. She agreed to completely disconnect from all digital devices for 24 hours. At first, she was apprehensive. She relied heavily on technology for both work and personal life, and the thought of being completely disconnected filled her with anxiety. However, she decided to trust the process and embrace the opportunity to unplug and recharge. She spent the day engaging in activities that brought her joy and allowed her mind to wander freely. She went for a hike in nature, read a book, and spent time with loved ones without the distraction of her phone. To her surprise, the digital detox was exactly what she needed. When she returned to work, she felt refreshed, energized, and bursting with new ideas. The time away from technology had allowed her mind to rest and reset, and her creativity soared. Our physical environment has a profound impact on our mental state and our ability to focus. When our workspace is cluttered and disorganized, it can lead to feelings of overwhelm, stress, and distraction. On the other hand, a clean, organized workspace can create a sense of calm, clarity, and focus. I remember working with a client who was feeling incredibly overwhelmed by her work. She was a writer, and her desk was piled high with papers, books, and half-empty coffee cups. She felt suffocated by the clutter and couldn't seem to find the mental space to write. We started by tidying her workspace piece by piece. We held each item in our hands and asked ourselves, does this spark joy? Does it support my work? If the answer was no, we let it go with gratitude. We created a designated space for everything, ensuring that everything had a home. As we tidied, I could see the stress melt away from her face. She began to breathe more deeply, and a sense of calm washed over her. By the end of our session, her workspace was transformed. It was no longer a source of stress, but a sanctuary for creativity and inspiration. She sat down at her desk, picked up her pen, and the words began to flow effortlessly. We all know that exercise is good for our physical health, but did you know that it can also work wonders for our productivity? When we move our bodies, we increase blood flow to the brain, which helps to improve focus, concentration, and cognitive function. I think of a successful CEO I worked with who swore by the power of exercise for boosting his productivity. Despite his incredibly busy schedule, he made time for exercise every single day. He would start his mornings with a run or a swim, and he found that it set him up for a more productive and focused day. He explained that exercise wasn't just about physical fitness for him, it was a form of mental clarity. It allowed him to clear his head, relieve stress, and return to his work with renewed energy and focus. He noticed a significant difference in his productivity on the days when he exercised compared to the days when he didn't. Incorporating exercise into your routine doesn't have to be complicated. Even a short walk, a quick yoga session, or a few minutes of stretching can make a world of difference. Find an activity that you enjoy and that fits into your schedule, and make it a non-negotiable part of your day. In the whirlwind of our busy lives, meal planning is often one of the first things to fall by the wayside. We tell ourselves we're too busy, but the truth is, meal planning can save us an incredible amount of time and energy in the long run. I once worked with a busy mother of 3 who was feeling overwhelmed by the constant demands on her time. She was working full-time, managing her household, and trying to be a present parent. But she was constantly feeling stressed and exhausted. One of her biggest pain points was mealtimes. She would often find herself scrambling to figure out what to cook for dinner, only to resort to unhealthy takeout options. We decided to implement a simple meal planning system. Once a week, she would sit down and plan out her family's meals for the week ahead. She would then create a grocery list based on her meal plan, ensuring that she had everything she needed on hand. The impact was remarkable. Not only did meal planning save her time and reduce stress, but it also led to healthier eating habits for her and her family. She was no longer making impulsive food choices based on convenience. She was making conscious decisions that nourished her family's well-being. In our fast-paced, always-on world, it's easy to feel like we're constantly rushing from one thing to the next. Our minds are racing, our bodies are tense, and we never seem to have a moment to just be. This constant state of stress and overwhelm can take a toll on our productivity, creativity, and overall well-being. I once worked with a high-level executive who was struggling to cope with the demands of his job. He was constantly stressed, anxious, and on edge. He had trouble sleeping, his relationships were suffering, and he felt like he was on the verge of burnout. We decided to explore the practices of mindfulness and meditation. At first, he was skeptical. He was a man of logic and reason, and the idea of sitting still and doing nothing seemed counterintuitive to his productivity-driven mindset. However, he was desperate for a solution and willing to try anything. We started with short, guided meditations, focusing on his breath and bringing awareness to the present moment. He also began incorporating mindfulness practices into his daily routine, such as paying attention to his senses while eating or taking a few moments to simply observe his surroundings. The transformation was remarkable. As he committed to his mindfulness and meditation practice, he noticed a significant shift in his mental and emotional state. He felt calmer, more centered, and more resilient in the face of stress. He was able to approach his work with greater clarity and focus, and his relationships improved as he became more present and engaged. As we've explored these 10 productivity hacks, I hope you've been inspired to make small changes in your daily life to unlock greater efficiency and fulfillment. Remember, it's not about doing everything perfectly, it's about finding what works best for you and committing to the journey of continuous improvement. Try incorporating 1 or 2 of these hacks into your routine and see what a difference it makes. I encourage you to share your experiences in the comments below. Let's create a supportive community where we can learn from and inspire each other on our journeys to greater productivity and fulfillment. And don't forget to subscribe to The Achievers for more inspiring content that will help you unlock your full potential. Remember, as the wise Benjamin Franklin once said, lost time is never found again. Let's make the most of the time we have and create a life that sparks joy.